The night that changed everything. If you think fame protects you from fate, think again. Before you watch, hit subscribe, because what happened on June 12, 1994, would become one of the most shocking criminal cases in American history. At 10:15 p.m. in Los Angeles, a quiet Brentwood neighborhood was about to make headlines across the world. Nicole Brown Simpson, the ex-wife of former NFL superstar O.J. Simpson, was found brutally murdered outside her condominium on South Bundy Drive. Beside her lay the body of Ronald Goldman, a 25-year-old waiter who had come by to return a pair of sunglasses Nicole's mother had left behind. The scene was gruesome and chaotic. Neighbors heard a dog barking relentlessly, Nicole's Akita, which led a passerby to discover the bodies. When LAPD detectives arrived, they found a blood-stained glove, footprints in the walkway, and drops of blood leading away from the scene. Hours later, investigators' attention turned toward one man, O.J. Simpson. O.J. wasn't just any suspect. He was an American icon, a Hall of Fame running back turned actor, known for his charisma and success. But beneath the charm, police soon uncovered a history of domestic violence between him and Nicole. Their marriage, marked by repeated 911 calls and allegations of abuse, had ended 2 years earlier, but the tension hadn't. Detectives noticed blood on Simpson's white Ford Bronco and a trail of evidence that seemed to connect him directly to the crime scene. They went to his Rockingham estate to inform him of his ex-wife's death. What they found instead raised suspicions even higher. Blood stains on the driveway, another glove matching the one found near the bodies, and no sign of O.J. himself. As dawn broke, the LAPD believed they were dealing with more than a domestic tragedy. They were at the center of what would become the most publicized murder investigation in modern history. The evidence looked damning, but the story was far from simple. The country woke up to breaking news. O.J. Simpson was wanted for murder. By the following morning, media vans filled Brentwood's quiet streets. Crowds gathered outside Simpson's home, reporters broadcasting every movement. What no one knew yet was that this case would expose deep racial divides, challenge the credibility of the LAPD, and turn a courtroom into the stage for the trial of the century. And when police finally tried to bring O.J. in, he didn't show up. He had disappeared. The chase and the trial began. June 17, 1994. The entire nation held its breath. O.J. Simpson, once celebrated as one of America's greatest athletes, was now a fugitive. He was supposed to turn himself in that morning, but instead, he vanished. Hours passed before the world discovered where he was, in the back seat of a white Ford Bronco, being driven slowly down the Los Angeles freeways by his friend and former teammate, Al Cowlings. The pursuit wasn't fast. It was slow, methodical, and eerie. Police cars followed at a cautious distance as millions of Americans watched live on television. For over 2 hours, the Bronco crawled along Interstate 405, with O.J. reportedly holding a gun to his own head. Crowds gathered on overpasses, waving signs that read "Go O.J." and "Don't do it." It wasn't just a police chase, it was a national spectacle. When the vehicle finally reached Simpson's Brentwood home, the standoff ended quietly. O.J. was taken into custody, charged with 2 counts of murder. In the trunk of the Bronco, police found $8,750 in cash, a passport, a disguise, and a loaded revolver. To many, it looked like a failed escape. Then came the trial, what the media soon dubbed the trial of the century. Cameras filled the courtroom. Every detail, every witness, every objection was televised. The prosecution, led by Marcia Clark and Christopher Darden, presented what they believed was overwhelming evidence. DNA matches between Simpson's blood and samples at the crime scene, the bloody glove, and traces of Nicole and Goldman's blood inside O.J.'s Bronco. But the defense had something powerful on their side out. Led by Johnny Cochran, Robert Shapiro, F. Lee Bailey, and a team later known as the Dream Team, Simpson's lawyers turned the case from a murder trial into a question of race, justice, and police integrity. Their argument was simple yet devastating. The Los Angeles Police Department, particularly Detective Mark Furman, had mishandled evidence and possibly planted it. Furman, already controversial, was accused of using racist language and lying under oath, revelations that shook the credibility of the prosecution's entire case. Outside the courthouse, the nation divided. To some, O.J. was guilty beyond question. To others, he was another black man being framed by a racist system. The trial wasn't just about murder anymore. It was about America itself. And as the months dragged on, one unforgettable moment would change everything. When O.J. tried on the infamous glove in front of the jury, the courtroom fell silent. The glove appeared too small. That single moment planted a seed of doubt that would grow uncontrollably. When O.J. Simpson struggled to pull the glove over his hands in front of the jury, it became one of the most defining moments in courtroom history. Defense attorney Johnny Cochran seized it instantly, turning to the jury with perfect timing. He delivered the line that would echo across decades. "If it doesn't fit, you must acquit." The phrase wasn't just clever, it became a cultural phenomenon. It encapsulated the defense's entire argument in 7 words: that the evidence against O.J. Simpson couldn't be trusted. As the trial continued into 1995, the nation was glued to every minute. DNA evidence, once considered unshakable, was dissected and doubted. The prosecution insisted it was scientific proof, but the defense argued it was contaminated, mishandled, and possibly planted. Every witness became a battleground of credibility. Every cross-examination a headline. Inside the courtroom, Simpson sat calm and composed, occasionally taking notes, sometimes glancing toward the jury. Outside, protests erupted, debates raged, and families across America found themselves divided along lines of race, class, and belief. The trial had become more than a legal proceeding. It was a mirror reflecting the deepest fractures in American society. On October 3, 1995, after 8 months of testimony, 150 witnesses, and countless hours of footage, the world stopped for one moment. In offices, classrooms, restaurants, and homes, millions gathered around their televisions as the verdict was read. The jury had deliberated for less than 4 hours. We, the jury, in the above-entitled action, find the defendant, Orenthal James Simpson, not guilty of the crime of murder. Gasps filled the courtroom. Some cried in disbelief, others in relief. Outside, cheers erupted in parts of Los Angeles, while other neighborhoods fell into stunned silence. For many black Americans, the verdict represented a long overdue victory against a system they saw as biased and unjust. For others, it was a failure of justice. A man they believed to be guilty had just walked free. O.J. Simpson left the courtroom smiling, a free man. But freedom would not bring peace. The public's fascination with the case didn't end. It only intensified. The families of Nicole Brown and Ronald Goldman filed a civil lawsuit against Simpson, and in 1997, a separate jury found him liable for their wrongful deaths, ordering him to pay $33.5 million in damages. In the years that followed, Simpson's life spiraled further. His attempts to rebuild his image failed. In 2007, he was arrested again, this time in Las Vegas, for armed robbery and kidnapping related to sports memorabilia. He would serve 9 years in prison before being released in 2017. The legacy of The People vs. O.J. Simpson remains unmatched. It redefined American television, criminal justice, and celebrity culture. It questioned the power of race, money, and media in shaping truth. Even decades later, the question still lingers: did justice truly prevail? One thing is certain. No courtroom before or after ever captured America's attention quite like this one. If you think you've heard every side of this case, think again. Hit subscribe, because the next story will take you even deeper into the minds behind history's most unforgettable crimes.